Hey guys, welcome back, and in today's video I'm going to be starting my new series here on the channel, and these will be prospect spotlights. In this series we will be taking a closer look at different prospects in the 2023 NFL Draft, breaking down their strengths and weaknesses, and doing a deep dive into their games. I'd like to give a huge shout out to the mock draft guy. Be sure to check out his channel. He's been doing these for a few months now and they are fantastic. In today's video, we will be looking at one of the most polarizing prospects in the 2023 NFL Draft, and that is Kentucky's Will Levis. So before I get into it, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe if you are new, and let's take a closer look at Will Levis. In the 2021 season, Will Levis took the college football world by storm. He had transferred from Penn State after getting beat out by Sean Clifford, and he only played 4 games there, and he decided to join Kentucky. And he played very well in his first season with the program. He threw for 2,827 yards and 24 touchdowns. He played great, and Kentucky was a relevant football school, something they hadn't had in a long time, and they were very successful that season as they finished 10-3. He showed a ton of potential in his first season and really made a name for himself, and he entered the 2022 season with a lot more expectations, and he was one of the top quarterbacks entering the season in 2022. A lot of eyes were on him, especially from the NFL world. Unfortunately, he underperformed in 2022, throwing 24 touchdowns and 10 interceptions with 2,416 yards on the season. He was really banged up, dealt with a lot of pressure this season, and that's going to happen when you lose your starting left tackle to the NFL, and your number 1 wide receiver has also gone to the NFL. He disappointed in 2022, but he is still a sought-after asset in the NFL Draft. A common theme you will hear when hearing people talk about Will Levis is that NFL scouts are absolutely in love with him. Why is that? He hasn't shown a ton in college and has some pretty glaring weaknesses, so why do NFL scouts love this kid so much? When I say he hasn't shown a ton, I'm not saying he hasn't flashed potential, I'm saying his numbers don't jump off the page to you. If you look at him, you'll understand why NFL scouts love this guy. Standing at 6'3", 232 pounds, Levis possesses the physical tools you look for in a franchise quarterback. He has shown flashes of greatness. He has incredible arm strength and can sling the ball effortlessly 60 yards down the field, and he might have the best arm strength in this entire class. He has showed some mobility and can run the ball when needed to. He doesn't have game-breaking speed at all, but he can move around in the pocket and make plays with his legs when called upon to do so. He's also shown great resilience. He was getting beat up all season in 2022, but kept getting up, kept making plays, and that is something teams really look for in a quarterback, and fearlessness in a leader. Kentucky also runs a very pro-style offense, with a single back set with 3 receivers and a tight end. It's a scheme you see very common at the NFL level, so the transition for Levis to the NFL might not be as difficult as it might be for some of these other quarterbacks coming up in this class, as well as the physical tools on top of that. So there might be a really nice transition for him if he falls into the right situation. Levis has some pretty glaring question marks that come with him though. For one, he really struggles with inaccuracy. He has inconsistent footwork, and it can lead to him making unbalanced throws, and he can lead to him throwing interceptions. He needs to improve in the accuracy department and work at timing his throws better. He can try and force the ball into very tight windows, and it leads to him throwing more interceptions than necessary. Patience is key, especially at the quarterback position, and Levis just needs to get his timing and patience on point. Granted, when he is playing behind a weaker offensive line and there isn't a ton of time to throw the ball and a ton of weapons on the outside, you're going to see this issue happen. But nevertheless, it's still an issue, and it's something he needs to work on if he's going to be a franchise quarterback in the NFL. It's nothing major with him, it's just little mechanical, mental issues that can be fixed, but he needs to work on that, and if he does, he could be a star at the next level. My pro comparison is not going to be super well received for Will Levis. I think there's a few guys that come to mind immediately when I think about who Will Levis could be at the next level. The confidence and swagger that Will Levis plays with on the field really reminds me of Joe Burrow. I'm not saying that he's the next Joe Burrow because I don't think the play styles really match up too well, but seeing his swagger, his confidence, and the way he carries himself on the football field, it gives me a lot of similar vibes that I get when I watch Joe Burrow. but from a play style, a build standpoint, he reminds me of two guys in particular. First is a comp you're going to hear thrown out all over this draft period, and that's Josh Allen. A rocket arm, great size, they're mobile. He's got a lot of the tools that Josh Allen had coming out of Wyoming, and a lot of the same question marks with the inaccuracy and not a great team around him. He also reminds me a little bit of Carson Wentz. Now, before you guys go freaking out on me, I'm not talking about the Carson Wentz we're seeing now as a backup for the Commanders. I'm talking about pre-injury Carson Wentz when he was the MVP frontrunner before he tore his ACL. Wentz was really good, had a deep arm, could move around in the pocket, was confident, had good footwork. He reminds me a little bit of that, and they have a similar build, so I do see a little bit of pre-injury Carson Wentz. I think he's going to be better than the Wentz we're seeing now in Washington, though. If he falls to the right situation, I think he could be a star at the next level, but as we know with quarterbacks, it's all about situation and where he falls. Ultimately, I think Will Levis will go top 5 in the NFL draft. I think he's got a few teams that are going to be really interested in him. The Houston Texans, Indianapolis Colts, Carolina Panthers, Las Vegas Raiders all come to mind when finding a team that could fit for Will Levis, and I'm very interested to see where he falls in the 2023 NFL Draft.